I finished my conversation and glanced at a quiet, unlit office. The shaking of my right hand had stopped. The office was quiet. It had been something like 5 days since the medical report had been released. The media coverage wasn't losing steam, it was intensifying. Many research results had supposedly been hushed up by Emerald Industries were being dug up right now. Serious conditions grouped together labelled as low-gravity syndrome were supposedly causing severe impact on the respiratory and circulatory systems whilst under the influence of Earth's gravity. The media was covering more and more such cases. Basically, the older you were, the stronger the impact was. It was said if you were past your 40s and lived on the lunar surface for more than 10 years, you'd be in quite a predicament. It even affected young people. If they had inherent deficiencies in their hearts or lungs, it could potentially be life-threatening. It was said that even if you're born on the lunar surface, even if you were completely healthy, you're out of borderline around the age of 30. Beyond that, the pulmonary system would not be able to take the Earth's gravity, which would in turn cause dire respiratory problems, or other serious dysfunctions of the circulatory system. You know what, this reminds me so much of a plotline in Planetus, the amazing anime and manga series. It's another sci-fi series with a realistic, light worldview. If you haven't watched it, I won't hold it against you if you pause the video, come back to it later, and go and look it up. It's a beautiful show which looks at the world of rubbish collecting in space. So which is only just recently coming into a form modern age actually. But definitely look it up, it's good. Even a first gen like me had already lived here for 25 years. In 5 years' time, I'll no longer be able to get to Earth. Felt like one of those fairy tales where someone who dreamed to become much more able to return to a real world. Though, when thinking about it, the most affected by a panic wave would be Earth-born people reaching middle age and above. As because people above 40 who had held out for the past 10 years on the lunar surface, and who had made something of their lives, had so much money they would never be able to use it all. There was no way for them to die without using it. If there were buyers for tickets, the price would go up. But in addition to those people who would like to buy tickets while they were cheap, people would also like to resell them. It would further increase the scarcity value and cause a vicious cycle. With people being shaken about the uncertainty between dying on the lunar surface or dying in one's homeland, there's no telling how far things would escalate. Right now, the price had soared to 22 times higher than normal. On the other hand, I was done buying little more than 240 million more worth of protection. Given the sheer amount of money, the salesperson Harold was had given it his all. He had thanked me many, many times. His wife had been giving me a courtesy phone call. She must have thought this bonus was guaranteed, with the income from the handling fee. I wasn't sure quite how to take that phone call. After all, what I'd bought at a cheap price too was the rope to hang him with. Some people want protection. What do we do? It's at 3 times the buying price though. Mark had put some Banco on hold from his tone. I'm unsure whether or not he was happy about it or not as he said those words. I was guessing he didn't feel the reality of it. Don't worry about that kind of pocket change, I said simply. Marco shrugged as if he'd been scolded, but he looked to me exactly like a kid who had too much money or was surrounded by people who looked like thieves. He apologised to a person on the phone, calmly ending the call. But it is possible nothing will happen, right? He said that in a low tone, as if waiting for a sign from me. 3 days ago, a real estate fund belonging to Bull Stairs went bankrupt, right? The real estate market is done for. As I said this quietly, he looked even more ashamed than he did when I scolded him for a big mistake. Of course I wasn't even thinking of scolding him, he probably just couldn't handle the stress. Besides, next week, or the week after, all financial institutions are going to be holding their earnings announcement. That uproar on the market is bound to have an impact on their balance sheets. Upon seeing this, the speculation fever on real estate should sink even further. It might even wither altogether. I was glaring at the display shown on the news as everyone had grown. Deep down, I wasn't feeling too different from Marco. No matter how much of this disturbing news I saw on broadcast, I couldn't really register the reality of what was happening on the surface. What was happening before my eyes was, through some butterfly effect, turning into a torrent of cash overwhelming my bank account. I could not make a concrete image out of what was exactly happening. After all, It's a sum of money 100 times bigger than my initial bet. There's no way it should feel real, which is why I was pointedly waiting in front of my display. And then, the phone rang. 1 ring. 2 rings. That's more than 2 rings. Marco looked at me with a stiff expression. I picked up on my 4th ring. Hello, Schweitzer Investment. I'm calling on behalf of E.J. Rockberg. We've just transferred the insurance money relative to your contract, so please confirm everything is in order. If you have any questions, please contact your sales representative. That was all. I looked at Marco. Marco typed a bit on his keyboard, but he opened his eyes wide. They did it. The transfer. He made a hard gulping sound. 22 million. Another phone call. Hello, Schweitzer Investment. Hello, Platinum Smith here. The insurance payment has been made, so please confirm on your end. As a motion to Marco, he nodded. He bowed for numbers 1 and 4. Schweitzer. This is Mirror Wrench Finance Division. I'm calling about today's payment of insurance. 9. Bull Stairs here. 23. Bank of the Moon. 18. Vlastical was the last place I'd called. This is Harold Brothers. Hello. In only a matter of days, no, hours. Maybe. The news got out right after I sold to you, after all. The other person on the phone muttered, then laughed dryly. Well, I for one have made a fair amount of money thanks to you, so I'm quite thankful. I guess such a feat of is a mark of a hero. Marco looked at me and nodded. 76. So, you won your bet. I will be counting on you again. As I hung up the phone, Marco stood up and raised both hands. We're already at 150 million malls. We can already repay the loan. It's unbelievable. This is just the beginning, you'll see. I said this in a completely cool tone of voice, but couldn't repress a smirk that would come on my lips. New Age Development have gone bankrupt. They said that while they were selling loans to Ninja. They were taking huge loans of their own, to take real estate positions. It was like a drug dealer doing his own drugs. They were allegedly turning all their incoming cash into real estate. So when it became clear they'd run away and the bailiff came and broke down your door's office. Door's office? The office's door? The main bank account had already been emptied, and the company could not continue their operations. Normally for money borrowed in order to invest, you needed collateral. So Stan and his guys were using real estate as collateral to borrow more money, investing that again in real estate. The value of their collateral dropped along with real estate prices. Additional collateral was requested of them. They couldn't follow up. If this was a stock company, at this point liquidation procedures would be forcefully engaged. Their bank accounts frozen, and the transaction stopped. A typical case of sudden death, which you see happen in the market from time to time. Dan, the CEO, had a bunch of 500 million more worth of these real estate loans to banks. Built with only their own calculations, which are now all collapsed. Out of blue, the junior claims of ABS and CDO securities made up these loans, acting as the breakwater collapsed. Consequently, I received payments from the insurance side on these junior claims. However, this was merely the forerunner of a huge wave. The industry as a whole refused price positioning in the real estate market. It was because everyone in the same situation as New Age Development, using real estate as collateral to borrow money, but investing in that real estate. It was like trying to build a ladder to reach the stars. The higher you went, the harder you fall. With a real estate price drop, a chain reaction of tremendous actualised losses occurred. Once they were requested to fork over more collateral, all their ready money would be sucked up, and they would be condemned to death by suffocation. Because New Age had collapsed, even people who somehow managed to put up the current state of things would soon see all their assets put on sale. After that, it would be game over for them. But on a scale beyond even 10 times the loans, the market price would certainly drop, and the conclusion they would reach is they must sell before the price drops faster than anyone. To reflect that fear, even though the real estate market had recovered for the first time in days, the data indicated that it had just taken a sudden fall as if it went through a bottom. In this situation, starting with Ninja unable to pay the interests, people who had subscribed to a debt, expecting the real estate price to rise, would be in a bind. The more time passed, the more loans would collapse, more properties would be put on auction, which would cause the further price drops and collapses. I had won my bet. I won. Once the next wave comes, every phone call will bring its own profits just like that. How far will it go? Don't get unattentive. It's also possible the market trend will revert out of the blue. Besides, our profits are someone else's losses. With such a huge loss, the economy will certainly end up with big trouble. Or so I said, but it seemed like Marco was not listening to me after all. He was rummaging through a space under his desk, brought out a bottle of champagne. Ah, you. It's just juice. Just juice. Marco said this as we were going to fetch some glasses. I heaved a sigh, but he had no intention of stopping. The hellish landscape of a collapse of the real estate market has been displayed on the channels that focused on investment information. But in the end, it was merely a problem with that market. Even the things I'd lectured Marco about, if I asked how serious I was about them, I'd be hard-pressed for an answer. After all, the banks issuing the ABS and CDO must be raking in insanely huge profits, enough to make your jaw drop, just on the purchasing handling fees. Even if they paying Dr. Wallace, or me the insurance money, I still have pocket change left over. Just then, the phone rang again. In that instant, what crossed my mind was thought, how much will I earn this time? I was disappointed with myself, felt a bit like a kid anticipating presents as I picked up the phone. Yes? Right sure is my name, you know. I distanced the receiver for a bit from my face, and shrugged before bringing it back to my ear. Yes? Yoshihiro Koa was speaking. I'm the first one to call you to congratulate you, am I? Yeah. Since everything's set up so more phone calls about financing offers get sent to voicemail. Oh my. Seems like I'll avoid ending up penniless. Be sure to prepare a very large accounting book. Otherwise you won't be able to fit all the figures in. Just what are you going to do with all that money? Eleanor chuckled impishly. From the side of the receiver, you could hear a sound of a finger flicking a glass. It's night time over here, so let's have a toast. Marcus prepared champagne. Wait a sec. Oh my. Could you please put him on the phone in a moment? Marco had just come back with 2 glasses, so I threw the phone at him. Marco blinked in confusion as he caught it. He put the receiver back to his ear with a puzzled expression. He straightened up his back and glared at me. I laughed, rotating my chair before using my own tablet to call a number. They must have been able to catch their breath by now, too. After the 3rd ring, they picked up. Your phone call lacks intact. I meant to congratulate you. Did you forget? I remember telling you that ties only deepen when one turns up losses. Wallace said that, stifling a laugh. He'd fought for me, and in a more daring way, a far more lonely battle. He was the king of pessimism, after all. How's Maria? She just went to buy champagne glasses. Didn't seem like it'd actually win. I for one, I'm surprised you prepared champagne. Well, Risa had admonished me. Risa? Well, she said that just after we share our suffering. We should also share our joy. Just what kind of lecture did she give the king of pessimism? I can only imagine. One thing was assured though, it was worth a laugh. So from my chair, took a glass of Marco's hands, as he reeled from Eleanor's lecture. Expression stiff. Went up before opening champagne bottle on Marco's desk, poured myself a glass without asking. There was a quarter box under his desk, and ended up laughing at the fact that it was called properly. Are you still there? He asked as a person on the other side when the answer came. Yes, but I guess the time when Grim Reaper will come for my soul is close. Well, at any rate, what else has got our paper cups? We'll just happen to live some 40 more years. And this thought crossed my mind. I gave 1 champagne-filled glass to Marco, as he was still being lectured. After that, I raised the glass to the height of my eyes and gazed at a beautiful golden liquid filled with bubbles. To a king of pessimism. To a hero of a lunar surface. When faced with an uncertain future, and no matter what their surroundings would say, one would invest accordingly to what they had seen, heard, and the results they had reached through careful thinking. No one can know what those results would turn out to be, which is why my sense of omnipotence, born from victory, made one think they had become a god. It was probably the only one to make such a huge bet on protection were Wallace and myself. There was a few smart guys who jumped on the last 3 days. Yep. For someone who wasn't stingy with insurance money, and was in possession of protection along with the securities, they must be heaving a huge sigh of relief for their own precautions. Right now, those who have been stingy must certainly have been looking crazy for protection, the price of which has just gone up. They're in face of risk of tremendous losses, all because they've been stingy with pocket change. For someone to win, Someone else had to lose. That was how the world worked. But let's not think about that right now. Let's enjoy our victory to the fullest. Glanced at Marco as Eleanor's scolding continued. At this instant, I was back to my mischievous kid self and gestured to him to hang up on her. Marco, a still full-blown mischievous kid, seemed to have understood my gesture and weaseled his way out of Eleanor's lecture, ending a phone call. Well, best a high-class lady with a side of a lie would be shocked, but I had a feeling she would laugh. Took a deep breath, my chest was swelling from pride, and I spoke. Cheers! And thus, I was finally standing on the golden path leading to that untrodden land I've been dreaming of since I was a boy. I had finally done it. I realised a dream in my heart was yearning for, a dream that had no need to be rationalised. Now, I had one last dream to fulfil. It was to look for Hagana from the peak of this golden mountain. This time, I wouldn't let things go the way they did with Avalon. I would use my success to the utmost to find Hagana. I should be able to find her for sure, because I had accomplished my dream. Something was ringing nearby. You know what was ringing? The end of the episode. Bye bye.